ito ay equivalent siya ng katulad ng ginagamit na prayer ng mga, sabihin natin, ng mga Catholics, yung turo ni Jesus Christ, peace be upon Him, isa sa mga minamahal natin sa Islam and sa Christianity. Ito po yung kung saan laging dinadasal ng mga Christians yung Ama namin, ganoon din ng mga Muslim, itong Al-Fatiha naman po, Surah Al-Fatiha. Ito po yung chapter 1 ng Quran. Okay. Para magkaroon kayo ng konting kalaman. And ito pong paggamit namin ng term ay yung word ng Allah bilang pagtawag sa God Almighty Creator, ay mapapansin nyo hindi po Muslim lamang ang gumagamit nito. Okay? And you can search it in any encyclopedia, kahit encyclopedia sa net, na even yung mga kapatid mo na mga Arab Christians, hanggang ngayon for the past 2,000 years, Allah ang tawag nila sa Diyos. Allah ang nakasulat sa Arabic Bible nila thousands of times. And even yung mga Christians po na lumaganap, even ang Indonesian Christians, Allah tawag sa Diyos. Ang mga Western Malaysian Christians, Allah din yung tawag sa Diyos. And even sa Malta, which are non-Arabs din, Allah ang tawag nila sa Diyos. Although majority are Catholics, Christians. At sa buong Middle East, yung mga Arab Christians po, hanggang ngayon ay Allah yung tawag sa Diyos. So, wala po kaming difference ang Muslims and Christians pagdating sa pagtawag sa Diyos. Yung mga binanggit ko ng mga mapapansin yung pinakalumang mga churches ng mga Christianity ay nasa Middle East, di po ba? Nasa Palestine, nasa Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Jordan, Egypt, okay? Libya at iba pa. So nandito yung mga sinaunang mga simbahan ng Christianity for your information. And hanggang ngayon, ala din yung tawag nila sa Diyos. So it's the same for us. Pag sinabi kasing Allah, ito po yung God Almighty Creator. Okay? Dinifferentiate siya sa ibang Diyos or God, which is Ilah or Ilaha sa Arab. Kapag sinabing Ilah, Diyos or God. Pero pag sinabing Allah, the one and only true God Almighty, yun yung Creator. Yung sinasamba at dinadasalan laging Jesus Christ kung siya ay mag-pray at gagawa siya ng miracles, yun po yung tinatawagan niya. Kaya na-maintain po ito ng mga Arab Christians hanggang ngayon. So hindi po bagong Diyos yun, yung Allah. It's the same. Allah, the Creator na lumikha kay Adam and Eve at nagpadala sa lahat ng mga prophets. Okay. Yung isa po. So, sana po, para magkaroon lang ng konting idea sa ating mga brothers and sisters na hindi pa Muslim, okay, na ito ay, alam niyo na, marami kasi propaganda against it, against Islam. Kaya, para itama ko lang namin yung ating kalaman tungkol dito. So, i-recite ko po ngayon, prepare ko ang Surah Al-Fatiha at susundan ko din po ng ilang maiksing prayers na itinuro ni Prophet Muhammad pagkatapos ko ng Fatiha. Itatranslate ko po sa Tagalog pagkatapos. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب جهنم ومن عذاب القبر ومن فتنة المحيا وممات ومن فتنة المسيح الدجال Ako ay nagpapakupkop kay Allah laban kay Satanas na isinumpa. Sa ngalan ng Allah, ang pinakamahabagin, ang pinakamawain, o pinakamapagpala. Ang lahat ng papuri at pasalamat ay para lamang sa Allah, ang Panginoon ng sanlibutan, ng lahat ng mga nilikha. Ang pinakamahabagin, ang pinakamaawain. Ang hari at hukom o hahatol sa araw ng paghukom. Ikaw lamang ang aming sinasamba at ikaw lamang ang aming hinihinga ng tulong. Patnubayan, gabayan mo po kami sa tamang landas. Ang landas ng iyong mga kinalugdan. At hindi ang landas na kung saan iyong kinagalitan at hindi ang mga naligaw ng landas. Panginoon namin, bigyan mo po kami ng mga mabubuting bagay dito sa mundo. At sa kabilang buhay, ibigay mo sa amin ang mga mabubuting bagay na makarating sa paraiso. At ilayo mo po kami sa parusa ng apoy ng impyerno. O Allah, inihiling namin ang bigyan mo po kami ng kaalaman na kapaki-pakinabang at ng mga pangangailangan namin na makabubuti sa amin at ng mga gawain na katanggap-tanggap sa iyo. O Allah, kami nagpapakupkop sa iyo laban sa parusa ng impyerno at parusa sa libingan at pagsubok sa buhay at kamatayan at laban sa pagsubok ng Antikristo. Amen.
Please remain standing for our Philippine National Anthem as conducted by FiNa Business Manager Ms. Marisa Linares. You may all be seated.
Indeed, we are tremendously grateful that all of you are here to celebrate the every step of success that we have achieved in just a year. Yes, in just 1 year, we turned from strangers to family. In just 1 year, we embrace to become one heart, one mind, and one soul. And indeed, we are united to serve.
May I now invite to the stage the President and one of Filipino nurses in Alhasa, our very own, Mr. F. Plaza Molina, to deliver to us the welcome address.
Morning, everyone. Good morning, our distinguished guests and visitors from different parts of Saudi Arabia. We have some colleagues, friends from Riyadh, Sir Gilbert Alarcon. And of course, we would like to acknowledge the presence of Sir Levin Kabutan. Sir, thank you. And of course, my respected colleagues from other hospitals and institutions, fellow Filipino community leaders, and of course, to our supposedly the ambassador is here, but unfortunately, he has some activities in our embassy. So instead, he asked our Colonel, Police Attaché Colonel Paro, who happens on his way. Probably in a few minutes, he will arrive, inshallah. To our well-respected hospital directors and heads, to our friends from other Philcoms, as represented by, of course, Triskelion, Bro Idol, thank you so much. FDK, of course, Dr. Shai, Mama Mira of Magic 6, to our colleagues in the healthcare professions, and of course to all my fellow nursing colleagues. A beautiful good morning to all of us. Good morning. Good morning. Sorry po, medyo late po tayo nag-start. I am Efren Plaza Molina, or should I say Efren the second Plaza Molina. And on behalf of Filipino nurses in Al-Asa, it is my pleasure to welcome all of you here today in our first Thanksgiving anniversary. I believe my fellow FiNa officers and BODs, or Board of Directors, can agree with me when I say that words are not enough to express the overwhelming joy that all of us are feeling today, isn't it? Yeah. 1 year ago, Ma'am Mac or Ma'am Marie Chris, Ma'am Vivian, we are part of the volunteering Philcoms for outreach events in an Embassy on Wheels activity led by our Philippine Embassy. We had the chance to speak to our beloved Adnan Alonto. And he asked us if we are also part of any group that specifically caters to the needs of nurses. All of us were taken back. The three of us looked into each other because we knew that he was right. There are a lot of Filipino nurses deployed in Al-Asa, yet none of us took the initiative to come together as a one community. And at that moment, we decided that there is a need for us to create one group that speaks for our identity as nurses. using our social media, Facebook, and some connections and networks, the original 3 people that started FiNa now grew up to more than 650 members. And apparently, we have like a total of more than 1,500 Filipino nurses here in Al-Asa. And that is something that we are truly proud of. We believe that our vision in uniting nurses, most especially in getting a representative from 27 hospitals and clinics, came into reality. But what truly is that never did we, in 1 year of coming together, despite of having limited resources and even lack of funds or financial funds, we were able to implement various health-led and medical aid missions and projects. We also did not think that it is possible for us to sustain months of food relief assistance to all of those in need when the COVID-19 crippled the whole world. We didn't anticipate that we will be a resource of others when it comes to medical assistance, labor suggestions, or even coordinating repatriation. And above all, we have never foreseen that we can make such an impact to the lives of our fellow OFWs here in Al-Asa and to our own lives as well. These triumphs that we have achieved in just 12 months could never be possible. All Filipino nurses and the support of each and every one of you who is present today. Kung kaya galing sa kinakalibuturan ng aking puso, maraming salamat po. Occasion not only marked in celebrating our small victories as a group, but also a symbolism of our overflowing gratitude to everyone who helped us along the way. I would like to personally extend my sincere gratitude to the officers, board of directors, and members of Filipino nurses in Al-Asa. And of course, to the donors and sponsors here and abroad, the Philcom groups, hospital and institution heads, our Philippine Embassy and our supporters, mga kabarokong nurses all over the world and all over the kingdom. And to the Almighty, to all of you, thank you very much for being a steadfast partner of FiNa in maintaining to the call for selfless service and love, not only for 1 year, but for many and endless years to come. Once again, a warm welcome to everyone. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, sir, for that wonderful remarks. Indeed, we are really grateful to be part of FiNa. Say yes.
Yes.
Parang may half-half doon na. Yes! Now perhaps everyone is already anticipating to know more of our milestone.
And here to take us in looking back to our journey is Ms. Maria Flor de Lisa Donato, the Secretary of FiNa. Magandang umaga po. Let me begin FiNa Diary with a little inspiration. With unshaken determination and faith in our hearts, we shall walk through roads of success. Colors circulate inside of me when I started writing down the content of this FiNa Diary. Some only knew that the idea to conceptualize this organization came from His Excellency, the Honorable Ambassador Adnan Villanueva Alonso, when he started asking how the nurses was doing here in Alasa, as being mentioned by our President a while ago. So the 4 nurses who was present during that time, Miss Marie Cris Ignacio, Miss Dor, Miss Vivian, and Sir Efren. They were there during that time, and they were dumbfounded, and various questions lingered in their mind, especially when the ambassador continued as he inquired about the total population of nurses working in different institutions and what is their present condition. A simple conversation that strikes the hearts and mind of the nurses present at that moment. This prompted them to decide to take an action to form a nurses organization. Mr. Efren II Plaza Molina started to create a Facebook name, Samahan ng mga Nurses ng Al-Asa, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and started to add members. With just a span of 2 days, the members of this group became 300 plus. October 25, 2019, when the first meeting duly called to discuss the goal of forming the group, it was attended by 12 nurses from the different institutions, namely King Faisal University, Ministry of National Guard Hospital Al-Azhar, Almana General Hospital, Hayati Clinic, Al-Musa Specialist Hospital, and National Building Company. The formation of core group and identified activities like membership, representation to the different institutions, the drafting of mission, vision, and core values of the organization took place. And part of the discussion during this memorable day of the organization is to conduct courtesy visit to the Director of Nursing from the different institutions to explain the purpose and objectives of this newly formed organization. And of course, one of the purposes of this one is to encourage nurses to be part of it. In just 2 days, Mr. Efren II Plaza Molina made this into reality when he started to visit the different hospitals and do the courtesy visit to the different hospitals, to the polyclinics, and dental clinics. And this came with a total number of the population of 1,560. Second, the creation now of this during that time in November 1, 2019, when the 2 decisions transpired from the core group members. Before, the name of the organization is Samahan ng mga Nurses ng Al-Asa Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Change it to FiNa, Nurses in Al-Asa. Second is, as proposed by the different members, they created the 6 committees and assigned different members of the committee as well as the appointment of the spokesperson, who is no other than Mr. Efren II Plaza Molina. November 9, 2019, this marked the first collaborated activity of FiNa with Seventh-day Adventists called Friendship Day Medical Mission. And this started the socialization with new friends. November 15, 2020, the back-to-back medical mission in Embassy on Wheels and Philcoma anniversary celebration established relationship with other group.
The unity of the nurses and their commitment to serve instilled into the hearts and minds of the volunteer nurses. During the Philcoma celebration, our appointed spokesperson, together with the appointed committee members, have a great opportunity to meet and consult the labor attaché of Polo, Honorable Raydelus Conferido, regarding the process and requirements on how to form an organization and how to be acknowledged by Polo and Philippine Embassy. In every organization, the Constitution and bylaws is essential because they serve as the fundamental principles that govern internally among the members. November 29, 2019, when the members of the core group convened, discuss and approve the draft, and in addition, as announced in the FB group, officers for the different positions were elected. With the finalization of the organization, constitution, and bylaws, together with the list of officers, board of directors, committee chairs, FiNa submitted a copy to the labor attaché, Raydelus Conferido, last January 20, 2020, and consultations with him took place. With his guidance, the organization was endorsed to the Consul General of the Philippine Embassy in Riyadh last February 2, 2020. While waiting for the acknowledgement from the Philippine Embassy in Riyadh, being true to its mission, vision, and core values, FiNa became active from the different humanitarian activities. These activities includes outreach program for Taal Volcano with an initiative called One Can, One Nurse Project, and numerous medical missions in collaboration with other Philcom groups and EOW in Alcobar took place. Another is the collaboration with the Polo Aero for volunteer nurses to assist fellow OFW who needs medical assistance going home in the Philippines. And lastly, participation in evacuation and repatriation plan in case of war. March 8, 2020, when Philcom leaders of Alaska went to Riyadh, Philippine Embassy for a courtesy call with the ambassador and other persons in authority. A dialogue was conducted between the Philcom leaders and the Philippine ambassador and other high-ranking officials in Riyadh. But before the courtesy call ended, one of the Philcom leaders that time requested to the ambassador to induct the new elected officers of the different organizations. That includes Filipino nurses in Alaska. The ambassador appreciated the oath-taking of the officers, the board of director, and committee chair who were present at the time. March 11, 2020, when FiNa was declared organized, as the letter of acknowledgement from Honorable Adnan Alonso arraigned FiNa in the Philippine Embassy's list of active organizations within its area of jurisdiction, and also as reference for its future activities involving the community. This announcement inspired more our officers, board of directors, chairs, and members to be more active in community service. As we were taking our baby steps, the resiliency of the organization was tested by COVID-19 pandemic when it started to introduce its flaws in Alaska. At first, the organization started to reach out with the Filipino nurses working to check their conditions and how can the organization help them. The officers, the board of directors, the committee chairs started to plan on how to come up with a project that will address the possible problem of the members. During the entire month of March, every members and officers was in red alert, figuring out possible problems and solutions of the frontliners. The negative impact on economy by the pandemic affected some of our nurses as their institutions made changes in their working conditions and eventually affected them also economically. The pandemic continued to intimidate working conditions. Starting April to the second week of June, majority of the OFWs were subjected to no work, no pay status. The left and right requests they are asking for assistance prompted the organization to come up with one FiNa, One Life project. The aim of this project is to provide assistance to OFW during the time of pandemic. The nurses were glad that they received blessings despite their pandemic. Though nurses work under pressure and stress for possibility of being inflicted with the virus due to their exposure with patients who are positive. But they still help by sharing goods and any kind of donations to help the no work, no pay OFW in Al-Asa. The social media is the main platform in reaching out the private individuals to share their blessings. And more than 1,500 OFWs benefited from this program, which is by the Filipino nurses in Al-Asa. And aside from the FiNa family members, private individuals not only from Al-Asa, but some from Central, Northwestern, and Eastern region, and even abroad, supported this humanitarian activity. Unknown to others, the PhilCom from the different organizations in Saudi Arabia help one another, coordinate with one another to help the OFW who really need their assistance. The food assistance reaches our brothers and sisters here in Al-Asa with the support of the Filipino community and private individuals. So it is not only here in Al-Asa, but in Riyadh and in Eastern region. Additionally, some of our FiNa members adopted family, and they support them with the best as they can. Community health nursing is one of the specializations of the Filipino nurses, and caring, aside from is not only their assets, but they conduct health education and proper referrals reach our organizations. Aside from assisting OFW who are positive with COVID-19, there are also some OFW who are inflicted with non-communicable diseases, and they officers. Again, the caring attributes of the Filipino nurses manifested, taking care in holistic approach, were extended to some patients like stroke patient until he was repatriated last September 2020 with the assistance, of course, of 2 members of FiNa. In addition, another kabayan was repatriated last October 2, assisted by 2 also of our Filipino nurses. This repatriation of our 2 kababayan will not be possible without the help of the labor attaché and welfare officers of Polo and the Philippine Embassy, headed by our Ambassador, Honorable Adnan Alonto, and of course, with the cooperation also of other PhilCom leaders. The officers, board of directors, committee chairs, and members from the different institutions in Al-Asa continue to abide its constitution and bylaws, especially with its mission and vision. To Filipino nurses in Al-Asa, to our guests, unity is diversity is our power. FiNa in Serbia. Thank you.
And truly, it showed how much blood, sweat, tears, and heart that all of us place to actualize our vision of being united in serving.
Now, to further motivate all of us in our calling to serve, may I please request to the stage Ms. Krista Yumisian, the group's public relations officer, the inspirational speakers for today's festivities.
Thank you, and once again, good morning to everyone. So it is with great pleasure to have with us this our speakers whom we in FiNa consider as individuals who embodies the group's core values of being nurturing, unified, of becoming resilient, service-oriented, and empowered. This is in every action that they do towards themselves and as well to the community. To introduce our first speaker this morning, he is someone who is actually quite known to us in FiNa. We had the privilege to interact with him in several occasions, and most especially in activities concerning labor assistance and the well-being of our fellow kababayans here in the kingdom. Despite only being here in Saudi Arabia for just 1 year, he is a man that strongly epitomizes dedicated public service in the performance of his duty. This is most especially pronounced during the onslaught of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, let us all give a warm round of applause. Please let us give a warm applause to our well-respected welfare officer, Mr. Levin J. Gabutan.
Thank you, Ms. Krista. Chaplain Gilbert Alarcon of Baguio's Formation, Miss Rosalie Amira Bartolome, Magic 6 Radio, Mr. Muhammad Gary Vargas Yuri, Islamic Center, officers and members of the Filipino nurses in Al-Asa, headed by the very energetic, hardworking, and handsome President, Mr. Efren Manina, distinguished guests, mga kababayan ko, isang maganda at mapagpalang umaga sa inyong lahat. A truly good morning to all. In behalf of the Philippine Overseas Labor Office, Eastern Region Operations, headed by Labor Attaché Honorable Nasser Mustafa, I would like to congratulate the officers and members of FiNa on your first founding anniversary. I am sure your first year has been filled with many meaningful and valuable happenings and activities. The fact that on your own initiative, you have successfully organized yourself into not just a social club, but even more so as a service society, not only for each other, but also for our kababayan OFWs, is really such a huge and admirable accomplishment, especially now as the whole world groans under the pressure of COVID-19. On duty, you as our dear and brave frontliners continue to serve, despite the fearsome reality that you yourselves may get sick too. Many times, even with very strict protocols, you have set aside your own safety so you could be of utmost service to those whom you know need you the most. Off duty, instead of just taking it easy and sleeping off your weariness, you have come out to assist Polo in the distribution of relief food packs and other activities of Polo. You have made the work more efficient and the task a lot easier. You have established a very good working relationship with Polo, which I hope will grow stronger with each passing year that FiNa remains alive and active. You have unselfishly given valuable assistance to distressed kababayan, especially at the height of this COVID pandemic, despite lockdown and curfew restrictions. You have displayed in your daily living the good, the true, the real character of our race. Courageous, resilient, compassionate, willing to serve despite great risk, joyously helpful and generous. In my heart, I pray that you continue to be brilliant light and the healing salt, even in this land that is to come. We will still meet head on the challenges brought about by this pandemic. We may be hard pressed on every side. We are not crushed. We may be perplexed, but will not despair. We may experience persecution, but we know never be abandoned. We may be struck down, but we will not be destroyed. We will continue to flourish in the face of hardships, but not our own knowledge, capabilities, and skills, but because of the Almighty God's power at work within us. May others feel and see God consistently working in our lives, and may they come to know Him too. Congratulations and power up, FiNa!
Thank you, Sir Levin. Indeed, power up, FiNa. So thank you for those really truly kind and inspiring words. Sir Levin really showed us and validated on how we in FiNa had the blood, sweat, and tears in doing everything that you've done. So again, congratulations to all of us. Now, for our second speaker for today, you have actually met him earlier. He's the one who gave our invocation this morning. He is representing the Philcom leaders here in the region. And we are delighted again to have with us Mr. Muhammad Gani, who has lived here in Saudi Arabia for 29 years. Yes, imagine that. He is right now currently a lecturer for the Islamic Center in Al-Hassa. And aside from volunteering his service in translating for our fellow kababayans who are currently distraught and who are having or currently suffering from labor disputes, he is devoting most of his time in teaching people in hospitals, centers, infirmaries, and as well as in prison on how enriching is the Islamic life is. So once again, let us welcome to the stage Mr. Gani for his message.
Thank you po. Mahalata na ng edad ko siguro. 29 years here in Al-Aqsa. Solid batang hupo. So, first of all, good morning for everybody. Alhamdulillah. So, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulil Kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. All praise is due to Allah, and may Allah's peace and blessings be on all of these prophets and all those who follow the path of the last day. Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah, God Almighty, the Lord of the worlds, for giving us a chance today to meet each other. And also, this actually, we're thanking Allah that such a great group like this FiNa, Filipino Nurses in Al-Aqsa, has been, let's say, created. And we all know that it has served as a very, very, great help to all of our kababayans here. And maybe words are not enough to, to say. This group, all of the officers and the members of this group, those who are present and also those who are absent, we are actually thanking all of you. Okay? Alhamdulillah, may Allah bless and guide all of you. And like our sister said, unity and many other things, right? But it doesn't mean that we are different and we might not agree with each other. We may disagree in many things, but it should not be a barrier to have our good relations with each other. We have to be open. That's why we have to be, open-minded with the others who are different from us. We have to know, actually, what systems you can marry up to 4. Right? We're always number one question about us. Okay? So we have to discover why. Or many things, many other different things, and differences in religion. So, and we should not be emotional with it. We have to see why, what's the reason, what are the evidences. So these are only an example. And really, as expressed by our very distinguished guest, Sir Levin, has described already the others, the activities of this group. Alhamdulillah, maybe the others which are not said, great help. And don't forget, brothers and sisters, there's a special verse in the Quran that mentions how important is your profession as doctors, as nurses, and all in the medical field. And actually, it can include also the police force or the military. Okay? What's that verse that's mentioned in the Quran? Okay? That is actually, you might say, wow, maybe if you're not familiar with it. Because of the so many negative things against Islam that we're watching every day, we have been, fed with so many black propagandas against Islam. But this is actually where you will see the true teachings of Islam in this verse. It's very clear. What does it say? It says, whoever kills an innocent man, as if he has killed all of the human beings in the world. How many population we have now? 7 billion? 7 billion people today, right? Imagine one innocent man killed anyway. Either it's murder, homicide, terrorism. Imagine, killing one is like killing all of humanity. This is the true teaching of Islam that says what follows it. And sad to say, there are some violating it from the Muslim side and also in other religions, right? It happens. Sad to say. But what follows the verse? That if someone kills an innocent man, as if he killed all of the human beings. But, and this is for you, whoever saves a life, it is like he saved all of the human beings. Imagine, saving one life, it's like saving 7 billion people today. So, if you're going to ask us, what's your choice? Killing or saving? And we will be unanimous 100% we will be saving lives. And that's your profession every day, right? Dying patients, right? And many other, you're saving them, helping them with Allah's guidance. Of course, He's the one who holds our life. We cannot control it. But you're doing your best to help each and every patient the best you can. And Allah is rewarding you for this. And I hope you get the simple message, and this is the real message of Islam, the real message of the Quran, which is might be opposite of what you see, what the Muslims, some minority, very small minority are doing. But this is the true Islam. Okay? So if someone saves a life, it's like saving all of humanity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sir Gary. Thank you for reminding us as to why we became nurses in the first place. Because we are always valued in caring and loving other people. Now, for our third speaker, we are very privileged to have with us someone who is known and a well-loved resource for community activities. Presently, our next speaker is functioning as the lead for Values Formation, and he traveled all the way from Alcobar just to be with us today. Riyadh, so far, so additional 2 hours. Thank you for the correction. Here with us is our next speaker, Sir Gilbert Alarcon, who will be sharing with us his experience and expertise when it comes to management, leadership, and community engagement. Yes, please.
Ganon. Do you have an idea how it feels, no? Na nakaupo ka doon, then suddenly biglang speaker ka pala. And then with matching experiences, hello, Sir Muhammad, congratulations for being here so long. Hindi tayo nagkakalala, 27 years na po rin dito. Forget about the age. For introducing me, I'm actually the Executive International Director of Values Formation and Spiritual Transformation Council, Philippines. ABA. Ano po? I also belong to the Order of the Knights of Rizal, Riyadh Chapter, and also OFW Congress, Riyadh Chapter. And forget about the rest, kasi baka maubos ko oras nyo. Anyway, it's really an honor and privilege to be with you today. Ano po, matagal-tagal akong hindi umattend ng mga ganitong event. I was actually refusing them because of some reason that I cannot indulge. Ano po, more on political, I would say. Kasi apolitical po tayo. Ano po. So, ano yung sinabi? Experiences? Ano pa? Now, actually po, I've been working voluntary works for over 2 decades already. And I've been observing newcomers, but potential people, potential volunteers, just like your president. I have, sige po, palakpakan po na. I have had once a lengthy conversation with him. And
Ambassador Alonso. Today, I'd like to greet the Filipino nurses in Al.
sorry ba, nauna ako sa'yo. Mamaya ka na, okay? No, it happens, ano? Mga technical glitches na ganyan. I was actually communicating with him kanina pa because Colonel Olaguera is not coming until now. So I don't know why he's not yet coming. You know? So balik tayo doon. I have had a lengthy conversation with Efren once at nagtaka siya kung bakit tila nasubaybayan ko yung mula pagdating niya yata dito. Hanggang din sa mga pangyayari. Dito sa Alhasa, actually Hukuk is very highly politicized region or place, no? Pagdating sa Filipino community. Kaya na time and again, I've been telling everyone, kapag nag-guest ako na ganito, there's no need for us to be fighting each other. Common advocacy, we're all and we should not be forming rather, a firing squad in a circle. We're fighting at each other, no? So katulad ng pag-uusap namin ni Sir Efren, sabi ko sa kanya, I've been observing newcomers like you. Kanina magkatabi kami, sabi ko, hey, very young organization and yet very productive and already a lot of achievements. Palakpakan naman po natin. With yung experience, pagdating sa organization, alam naman po natin yan, very basic naman po. Ano? The only thing that I can share with all of you is one thing. Always put in mind that it only needs an interchange of two letters to make united and tied. Please mark it in your mind. Only an interchange of two letters to put united or to make united and tied. Okay? Yun lang po. And besides, respect should always be there. Pinakikinggan ko kanina si Sir Muhammad, talking about the Quran and some of the things mentioned there. I'm a Christian. But it doesn't follow that because we don't have the same religion, we should be going against each other. God created all of us equally, right, Mr. Muhammad? According to His. Therefore, there's no need for us to be contesting on anything about our belief, about whatsoever na ating pinaniniwalaan sa bawat isa. All it needs and all requires is unity and respect. So, congratulations, FiNa. Sabi ko nga, napakabatang organization, pero napakadami ng achievements. So, I would like to congratulate you ngayon pa lang on your 50th anniversary. Si Sir naman, masyadong advanced mag-isip. Because I know one when I see one. I know the heart of Efren. I've been observing him all along. And even God looks upon the heart. Sorry, hindi ako nagsisermon. Though I am a chaplain. Pero natutuwa ako sa mga ganitong mga organization. So, set aside political issues, set aside payabangan, paandaran, pataasan. There is no need for that. We should be focusing on one and same direction to help our co-Filipino OFWs who are in dire need of our help. Actually, bago ako pumunta rito, ina-arrange ko yung isang kababayan natin dito sa Hufuf na mapuntahan sana namin ngayon. Hindi pa sumasagot kung payag yung amo. Diyan pa naman si Sir Levin. Grabe yung kaso niya. And meron tayong mga ilang cases, Ma'am Amira, na for the glory of God na na-solve natin from Hufuf. Ilang kailan lang, di ba? Sunod-sunod sila. Sabi ko, bakit gano'n? Mag-anniversary ang FiNa, tapos sunod-sunod, puro Hufuf ang cases. Praise God. All things work together for good to those who love Him and to those who are called according to His purpose. Romans 8:28. Sorry for mentioning a verse. Sabi ko nga hindi naman tayo magkakaiba, So, hindi ko na po pahabain pa. Nalulungkot ako dahil I was expecting Colonel Rodagera here with us. Kasi kami medyo na-late din. Sorry again for that. Hindi pa sumasagot si Amba. Napuyat yung kagabi. Kasi po may event sa embassy kagabi. 7 mga employees po kasi from Philippine Embassy tapos ng tour duty at 3 sa polo or dalawa rather. I'm not sure. 3, no? At binigyan sila ng masalama kagabi. So medyo puyat itong si Amba ngayon. Yesterday afternoon, I was with him. We were with him sa FW Congress naman. Because we are setting up a program in honoring your fellow health workers back there in Riyadh. Ano po? For being a very brave frontliners during pandemic. You know why I have a very light heart? Bakit mahal ko ang mga nurses? You know why? Do you want to ask me why? Why? Thank you. Because my wife is a nurse. Wow! And she worked in Fahad National Guard Hospital in Riyadh for 17 years. She just exited, by the way, last October 7. Oh. My youngest son. And my eldest daughter is also a nurse. She's now in UK. Actually, 2 courses yun, physical therapist and a nurse. Ambassador Alonto's daughter, as I've been talking with Ma'am Jo, is also a nurse from the US. We have common denominator, we have common fear, pandemic periods, because our children are both exposed to this unseen enemy, which you health workers so fightlessly, strongly, and bravely fought. Until now, di po ba? So we are conducting a program of Thanksgiving to those health workers back there in Riyadh. That's why we had a meeting with Alonto yesterday to set up the place, the embassy place, for this December 4 event. You are all invited.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Oh, ang layo. Okay, so that's it. Hindi na po ako magtatagal. Baka maubos ko ang oras ninyo. Actually, matagal na. No? So again, congratulations, FiNa, Sir Efren, and the rest of the officers. And thank you very much for inviting us over. It's really an honor for us to be here with my colleagues, no, galing ng Riyadh. I would like to acknowledge the presence also of Angel May. Miss Angel May actually is also belongs to the very young Filipino community organization in Riyadh, and yet very, very active also. So as I told earlier, I've been watching this young generation of volunteers to be of guidance to them, to sabi nga nila kanina, to share my experiences. All I have, I'm willing to share. So maraming salamat po. Good morning po sa lahat. And God bless you all.
Sir Gilbert, maraming pong salamat with that inspiring words and sharing for your experiences. And on behalf of FiNa, we promise po that we will not be disheartened with what we do. Even if we're going to experience any challenge, even if we're going to experience any hardship, we will still continue to serve. If we are going to have any change of heart, definitely, we are just going to have a change of heart to be better. Kagaya nga nasabi ni Sir Gilbert, if we continue to be good with what we do and to be honest and humble with what we do, baka tumagal nga tayo ng hindi lang 50 years or baka 100 years pa. So now, to all our speakers, thank you for all the heartwarming messages and powerful reminders to keep our desire and to serve blazing. And although our most loved ambassador, Adnan Alonto, is unable to be with us today, we are still grateful that he shared with us a video recording of his message to the group. He might not be with us physically as of the moment, but his will of being in solidarity with our call is truly resounding here in Al-Hasa. So now, let us now listen to the message of our Honorable Ambassador Alonto.